after we were 4-2.
Bills fans, I'm not even going to attempt to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you a white lie. I'm not going to tell you a partial lie. The truth is, this was likely the worst season y'all will have in the last 5 years.
Shut up the Bills! It's not outside! It's not outside! Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Homie, now listen, everyone play their position. Buffalo got a tradition. They say we trippin', they better get out our way. Top of the table, we flippin', we on a mission. Got an unstoppable team, continue to follow your dream by any means. Buffalo, get in the Super Bowl ring. Cause we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Mafia up in your city, time to get gritty. Screaming and yelling, we bugging. Look at the red and blue.
This is an MVP year for Josh Allen. As an MVP voter, I said this last week. Josh Allen, he looks like an MVP. When you vote for MVP, and I can speak for myself, I think I'm one of 50 voters, you look at a couple things. Who's the best team in football? Who's the best player on that team in football? What do they look like as the best player on that team in football? And how much talent is around that best player on that best team in football?
Cause we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo.
And a good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Coast to Coast podcast. I am your co-host, Beyond 716. We are back, and apologize for not being here last week, but thanks to Whittle as always, the GOAT, as we call him around here, for holding it down and back. And ladies and gentlemen, the Super Bowl has passed, and we are now only 211 days from football being seen again in the regular season on September 10th, 2026. We know the Bills will not be in that game. So for the Bills, it's probably going to be about 214 days. And want to say, we had a great Super Bowl in terms of a result, and we'll get into that a little bit. We're also going to get into some of our coaching hires, and then we'll talk a little bit more as we move into the combine season, into free agency, and kind of set you up for the next part of the Buffalo Bills season. That's from now to the draft. There's so much to talk about, and please be here because we're going to have a lot of great guests and a lot of great talk, especially for all you that love the draft out there. So as we have the one, the only Whittle 2K, and I'm going to put up a comment, Whittle. Our guy Leishon, best opening to a podcast, period. We were just speaking about it. So we already got immediate feedback from one of the greats in Bills Mafia, Leishon. It's always great to see you here, brother. Whittle, how
he's
are
on
you?
it.
Yep, he's on it. I know. I love it.
Shameless plug.
Yep. Thank you, Leishon. We always appreciate your support. It means everything, man. So how you doing, Whittle?
A little tired, man. I went to work. Afternoon shift today, and just a little tired, but
I don't blame you. Well, can I ask you, is it finally not Antarctica where you are right now? I mean, are we getting normal temperatures in New York now, New Jersey? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was like what was it, like 39?
Oh, that's you're probably out in shorts and a t-shirt, right? That's why you got t-shirt, like it's warm.
I actually went to the gym today. I had on some shorts, a hoodie.
Nice. And, there you go.
Yeah. I had my compression sleeves on too, so
there you go.
My legs were kind of covered, but yeah.
It was 87 here on Super Bowl Sunday. We dipped down to 60 degrees. So I know that's actually good things. When we're colder, you guys are a little warmer. So I was like, oh, fine. I hope it's finally getting better over there. So, but hey, we're not here to break down the weather. We're here to talk about, again, we're moving into the Bills off season, and we could start though by talking about the Super Bowl. And this didn't feel like our typical Super Bowl. There are a lot of emotions about it. And I think in this guy, as I said it best, I can't believe the Bills lost to Denver. I mean, winning Super Bowls, my dad's a super diehard Eagles fan, but I felt bad for the Bills. I think this is one of the big prevailing thoughts that I had, Whittle. I mean, there's been other years that I felt like, I felt more upset about this Super Bowl, the Bills not being there, than last year, because the Eagles were so good in that game. I'm not really sure if we win that game, right? But I feel like if we could have gotten to the big game this year, again, Seattle was a formidable opponent. Not saying they weren't, but it just hit harder. It's like, why are we not in this game, Whittle? And we know the reasons why, but the pain was just a little bit more palpable, so to speak.
Yeah, this was this was worse. This was worse, bro. Like this was worse than what I expected, bro. Like honestly. I don't want to say I took this hard, but I kind of did. And I feel like most Bills fans probably, there's evidence that Bills fans took this really hard, but we're not going to bring that up on this show. But there's evidence that we took this very, very hard, harder than normal. But it for me, it was not that we lost, but it was the way that we lost.
Yes.
And while it was kind of similar with the defense not being able to stand up at the end of the game and get a stop to get us out of the game, kind of like how they did with Jacksonville, where I felt like the defense in Jacksonville really didn't play as well as they did in Denver. Like I thought the defense in Denver was better. I thought the defense, in the Denver game was better than it was against the Jags, but just when you need that stop, you need that one stop. You don't get it, and even when the offense has a couple of chances at the end of regulation, that game, even in overtime.
Oh, Riddle, you're fading a little bit in and out, brother. You're fading just a little bit in and out there. I apologize. Just wanted to let you know.
It's probably the soundboard. Let me plug the battery.
Oh, no worries at all. So as Whittle's doing that, I'll just want to give a shout out to Dog out there. See you there. Always great to see you here, man. Hopefully you're doing well. And again, it's just this was I agree with Whittle, and it's the way we lost, and also it just didn't. I just in my heart of hearts don't feel that the defense was the number one reason. I think in the past we've had those conversations, but I think in this one it was more 70, maybe 30, 75-25 offense. If I had to put a percentage on it, that's what I would say. Maybe even a little bit higher. I know some fans will say, "Oh, you're being too hard on Josh Allen. You're being too hard on James Cook for the fumble," but it's I would say this year was about 80% the offense. I think the turnovers really hurt us to put our defense in very bad situations. But I think they held up pretty well, all things considered, enough to win. And again, if we take care of the ball like the way we should have in this game, we're not giving up 30 this game. Maybe we're not scoring 30, but maybe we don't need to score 30. Maybe we win 27-21. Maybe we win 27-20. Maybe it's that kind of game instead. So, and yep. Yeah, and I agree,
How I sound now? I'm good now?
Yep. Back and better than ever, Will. Thanks, man.
I think one of the reasons that this was so difficult was because we're so used to Josh playing well enough for us to win. We're so used to Josh really playing great in the playoffs, and this was the one time. Not the one time, because there were other games where Josh did not play well. Obviously the what do you call it? The
Cincinnati
game. Yeah, the Cincinnati game. Even the Miami game the week before, he didn't play great.
Yeah, he
But
was.
you
It
know,
was kind of like Denver, to be honest.
it was
Whittle,
pretty.
that
Yeah,
game
it
was
was
a little bit
pretty
like
bad.
Denver. Yeah.
Yeah, he had 3 turnovers that game. One was a 50-50 ball to Shakir that Shakir wasn't able to come down with. Um, Not the greatest or a little underthrown, but whatever. Uh, Another one was a strip sack where, if I'm not mistaken, I think Spencer Brown got like destroyed. No, no, no.
Hmm.
It wasn't Spencer Brown. I think it might have been Dion. I think it might have been Dawkins. Just got destroyed. Um,
Hmm.
and Josh gets strapped. It was a strip. No, no, no. It was Spencer Brown. Yeah, Spencer Brown got destroyed. He got
Hmm.
destroyed. They got to Josh, strip sack. They got the ball. Miami gets the ball like inside the 15 or something crazy like that. It was a
Hmm.
pretty bad turnover. Um, the other situation, the other turnover was a throw that he hit Cole Beasley in the chest with, and
Hmm.
probably could have been a pass interference call because the defender did get there a tad bit early, but nevertheless, Beasley wasn't able to come down with it. Ball pops up, Miami picks it off, but we were able to win. So when you win those games, you don't really there isn't as much scrutiny on those games when you win them versus when you lose them. So and we saw that with you know that happened for us in Denver, and we're probably not talking in depth about Josh Allen's
Hmm.
performance if
Yep.
we manage to win that game. If the defense gets that stop on 3rd and 11, where for the life of me, I still don't understand why McDermott didn't blitz there. He just sat back in zone coverage, and Taron Johnson makes a mistake in coverage, in my opinion, and abandons his zone, and uh, and they were able to get a first down and continue that drive. They scored shortly after that. So if the defense makes that stop, we're not having this conversation because we're going to New England the following week, and we're playing in the snow and whatever else was up there at the time. So, um, but when you lose these games, that's when you're going to analyze everything. You're going to pick everything apart. You're going to go over the game with a fine tooth comb. And that's what happened. Similar situation for the Patriots. Drake May
Hmm.
played in the Super Bowl how he played all playoffs long.
Hmm.
He wasn't good in the playoffs. He turned the ball over. He was loose with the football. He missed throws. He was not sharp at all. And he looked like that on Sunday against the Seahawks. The
Hmm.
difference was the Seahawks didn't turn it over too. They didn't give them the ball at all. So they didn't give them the
Yep.
ball. Uh, Actually, I think they did have one. I think they turned it over once. I think he threw an interception, I believe. But that was it. Like they
Yep.
didn't. The Seahawks took care of the football pretty much, and they were able to put points on the board. And that Seahawks defense was excellent. So
Hmm.
you know,
Yep. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks as well, Whittle. I mean, John Schneider, a GM that we don't talk about probably enough. Uh, we always talk about Howie Roseman. You hear about that, and he's great too. But we don't talk about John Schneider that much, and he's what a great job he's done out there in Seattle. A team that a lot of people thought was kind of going through a retool. Right? They had a couple decent years. They move off from Geno, and they bring in Sam Darnold. You're like, okay, they're going to be decent this year. They're going to be kind of 9-8, 10-7. Nobody really thought that they were going to pop like this, but he's
but it
been
worked.
great. They've done a great job of drafting and building their organization.
Right. The work for that roster started a few years ago. They
Hmm.
take away Mafe early.
Yep.
They trade for Leonard Williams. They
Hmm.
take Tariq Woolen in the 5th round, who I mean we should have taken earlier than that, but whatever. They
Yep.
get Tariq Woolen. They drafted Kobe Bryant, who was a corner for them. They moved him to safety. They drafted Evan Witherspoon. They
Hmm.
drafted Derek Hall on the defensive line. They drafted Charles Cross. They drafted Greg Dortch. They drafted JSN. They traded Metcalf, saved themselves some money, um, and they brought in Rashid Shaheed. They also they also drafted other guys on it. There were some other guys on that defense as well. They bring in uh, the safety. What's his name? Julian Love, the
Mm-hmm.
safety they brought in.
Oh, look at Kev here. Save GM, but change coaches.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Hope you're right, Kev.
but more importantly than that, I mean, they built that roster through the draft and making really really smart, savvy moves that probably weren't the most popular. Um, but Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, like those guys are draft picks. AJ Barner, he's another draft pick. Jake Bobo, a draft pick. Like they draft these guys and they play these guys, and those guys have come through for them. They brought in Sam Darnold, who had a really good year with Minnesota last year. Um, Former top 3 pick in the NFL draft by the New York Jets. And everything just kind of came into place. The 49ers were injured. The Rams defense wasn't as good as it had been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles kind of had a down year due to coaching and some changes on the offensive line. Just everything kind of Detroit fell off this year. Green Bay was pretty injured. Chicago's still young. Like everything kind of fell into place. But this is not to take anything away from the Seahawks. The Seahawks did exactly what they were supposed to do.
Yep.
They lined up with whoever they played. They won their games. They got themselves, home field advantage, and they took care of business. That defense was as good as advertised, and they get after the quarterback and they do a good job of taking a run away from you as well. So kudos to them, man.
Yep. And Kenneth Walker, he's really America has gotten to realize how good Kenneth Walker really is now.
Yeah.
For sure.
He had 100 yards in the first half, man. One of the better run, one of the top run defense in the NFL. I mean, that was beyond impressive. But I mean, listen, when your coaching staff is as good as theirs is, when your coach and your defensive staff is as good as that staff is. I mean, Nicky Muwari played really, really well for them. I can't forget about him. I mean, those pieces that they put together, those pieces were excellent, man. Ernest Jones was a throwaway player from the Rams, and he found a home there. He went from the Titans to the Rams into the Seahawks all in the same season, and now he's a Super Bowl champ. So, kudos to them, man. They really put together a special, very very special run, and I'm very happy about that because I couldn't stomach a Patriots.
No. And you know what? Listen, as much as we don't like them, I mean, New England had a fantastic year. They got nothing as a fan base to be ashamed of. Nobody thought that they were gonna get this far.
They should be ashamed.
There's second coming. Yeah. Well, this is true, and I am of the belief that you have to do it maybe twice or more to be considered a great quarterback. I mean, Drake May is looking the part at times. There's no question, but let's see a little bit more of a sample size long term before we put him in with the Joshes, the Patrick Mahomeses, the Joe Burrows, and Lamar Jacksons. We got to give that a lot more time before we put him in that bucket. So, but we'll see. Expectations high for them next year. Schedule will be a lot more difficult. People will be going for them next year. They're going to have the targets on their back this time. So instead of even Buffalo, I mean, even our own division. So that's going to be an interesting little segue, little storyline into next year. So, but yeah, and Doug even said it, and even Kev here said it. Their new on coaches locked the team. They didn't make the playoffs last year. Leonard will unlock many Bills players, and that's what we're going to get into Jim Leonard in a little bit here. And then like New England, they rode that schedule. They had favorable matchups. They, players being out, quarterbacks being out. I mean, maybe there is a little bit of luck more than we realize into this whittle at times. I mean, there are certain years, right, where you just need things to really bounce your way, and that's what we saw from the Patriots. I mean, literally, think about Josh Allen, right? 38 total touchdowns in the playoffs. He has 12 turnovers. I believe he has 7 of those turnovers in 2 games. So that's over like 50, 60% of his turnovers are in 2 of the 15 playoff games. Which shows you like how sterling he's been. Yeah, he's had a couple bad performances, but maybe it's a reminder to Josh, and I want him to remember this year. There's some games you just need to play efficient, right? And this was the year to play efficient to the Super Bowl, and that's what we need against Denver. And maybe that's the message I keep taking away from that game.
Had efficiency been the priority this year, season is very, very different.
We're having a packed show right now. Actually, we're probably in Buffalo right now. Now. You and I are in Buffalo right now doing this show live. We got Dog on our left. We got Kevin Massari hanging out with us. We got all the crew. We got Dale in there. We got everybody in there doing a huge podcast from some random Le'Shawn going crazy. Probably lose his voice completely. That's where we'd be at right now. Yes.
100%.
Yep. But anyway, what ifs. But hey, now we move forward, and Boston had a very tough Sunday. But I will be remiss if I would. It's been a few days, and I thought, maybe you thought I would let this one go, Whittle, but Boston suffered in another way on Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, and I just got to get this out in the open, but it's the numbers 111 to 89, ladies and gentlemen, at TD Bank. The New York Knickerbockers invaded Boston, but Whittle, you'll laugh at this. In vintage Knick fashion, they follow up this big win against Boston, and they lose at home to Indiana last night.
I know. Without
it's just what they do, right? It's what they do. It's just if you want to know New York Knicks, it's just like.
And right now, you guys up like 35 points over the 76ers. But I mean, sure, we like the last time I checked the score.
But is that not just the Knicks? I mean, is that not the Knicks in a nutshell right there? Like. You have a huge win against Boston. You're like, ooh, big momentum, and you guys are taking it to Chicago tonight too. So, but man, it's just to lose at home. But I had to get that out there. I was waiting a few days.
No problem.
I was sitting on that one. You'll get me back sooner or later. I'll leave at a time.
Yeah, I while you were talking about the game Sunday, I just went and pulled up the. Just Googled the NBA standings currently. In the Eastern Conference, Boston is still the number 2 seed.
It's amazing. I got to give them credit. I really got to give them a lot of credit. I mean, considering you're missing your best player to still be in that position speaks a lot to how great your organization is and how good that team really is. So that's
that best player who is currently with the G League affiliate, the Maine Celtics. He will be playing 5-on-5 basketball for the next few weeks as he builds himself back up.
Dog says leave my Sixers out of it. All right, Dog, we got to get you in this loop now.
You bet. Best to stay out of this one, Dog. The Sixers are not really good.
No. One more quick shout out: St. John's 12-1 the Big East. Let's go beat UConn Friday night. We're rolling. So. And Tina put you with us, did me, you, and Whittle about St. John's. So Tina has put you in with the St. John's crew, by the way. So just keep that in mind.
I don't know if I don't know. Tina's not on my good side right now.
Oh boy. All right, we got. Oh boy.
We're all right.
Oh man. Anyway, but we'll segue back to football here, folks. So we had to get our little basketball. I had to get my little comment in about Sunday. But so
every offseason, you know how it goes, man. Ridiculous trade rumors, pipe dream proposals, fentanyl laced expectations. It's ridiculous. Like the stuff that you're hearing. Let's trade for Justin Jefferson. Let's sign Trey Hendrickson for $35 million a year. Like, it's just like a lot of crazy stuff. Let's bring in all of these wide receivers, even though the reason that we lose every year in the playoffs is because of defense. Let's, make the offense easy for Josh Allen. And, guys, data is your friend. And so is Google. A lot of these takes on, turnovers and why they happen and what would change if this was different. A lot of that stuff you can find on Google, and AI will help you as well. You don't just have to make things up. Um, Everybody wants to get Josh a elite level number one receiver. We wouldn't have these problems on offense that we're having. And then I go look at the numbers, and it says, well, who's the best? Who's been the best offense in football over the last 5 years? Oh, it's been the Buffalo Bills. Okay, no problem. Who's got the biggest scoring differential over the last 5 years? Oh, that's the Bills too. Okay, all right. Well, those numbers are jaded by the fact that you had Stephon Diggs and all of that. Okay, no problem. So over the last 2 seasons, the Buffalo Bills finished as a top 3 offense, scoring and points per game, like top 3. The Buffalo Bills have no trouble scoring points. Should they go out and improve the wide receiver room? Absolutely. Should they go out and try to acquire a better, more reliable number one target at wide receiver? Absolutely. Absolutely. My pick. My pick is Michael Pittman. I think you get Michael Pittman in here. I think you can get a contract that is manageable. Short term, 2-3 years, 25 million, somewhere around that number, and and allow him to kind of let his career kind of get to the next level, if I can say that. While still utilizing the players that you spent draft capital and financial dollars on. I do think guys like Curtis Samuel will be cut. I do think that a guy like Mecole Hardman can have a spot on this roster, but it's there are guys like Shavers who are going to come back from injury who are going to have a spot. I think Keon Coleman needs to be a part of the offense, and he needs to be used differently. I think Shakir should have his role expanded. Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid, like all these guys. I'd like to see the running backs utilized a little more. I don't ever want to see James Cook get 300 or get over 300 carries again. He led the NFL. He led all running backs in fumbles this year. He had 2 fumbles lost in the playoffs. Let's cut his usage down a little bit. More Ray Davis, please. More Ray Davis, please. And I think that this is an argument for the pro wide receiver. And I don't want to say that there's a pro wide receiver crowd, because I do think that the Bills, the segment of Bills fans that want to prioritize improving the defense, also believes that we should improve the offense by going out and getting a more talented lead wide receiver on the roster. So we can definitely do that. And I think that if we do that, you're going to get less carries for James Cook, because the offense will be able to move the ball more effectively through the air, downfield, probably at much more efficiently, and probably more and definitely more consistently. So don't get the wide receiver for sure. But
I really like your Pittman idea.
Yeah, don't shortchange don't shortchange where the resources really need to go. We need to be able to get the quarterback on the ground. We need to not have a situation where we have to put Darnell Savage and I'm not all the way out on Darnell Savage. I know he had a bad rep, but I think with a full offseason and a new system, Darnell Savage might be able to make this roster. I never want to see Dane Jackson in the Buffalo Bills uniform. I'm sorry.
We need that clip right there. That's a clip. We never want to see Dane Jackson ever.
Can't do it, man. I'm sorry. I,
Yeah.
he's light years better at football than I'll ever be, but
Yep.
my
Yes.
God, I just can't do it. And I just can't have that happen again to this team, bro. Like
Mhm.
no more, please, no more. It's like
Absolutely.
that meme from The Office where it's like, no, God, no.
No, no,
Every time
please no. Yeah.
every time he gets on the field, it's like, Jesus, I know the other team is aiming for him, and there's nothing he's gonna do to stop it. Nothing.
Mm,
So we got to improve the depth at corner.
yep.
Maybe we need one boundary. Maybe we need two.
Mhm.
I don't know yet because Dorian Strong just had surgery. The rookie corner out of Virginia Tech.
Mhm.
I believe we took
Prayers
him
up
in
for
the sixth
Dorian
round.
too. Mhm.
Yeah, he had surgery to repair, to fix the, something, whatever his issue was with his neck this year that kept him out of just kept him out of all of the games from week 2 on. Um, he had the surgery. I'm guessing it was successful, and he said he's on the road to recovery. We'll see if that entails, if that road uh, leads him back to a Buffalo Bills uniform and playing on Sundays for us again. I would love to see it because the little bit of time we had with him, he was really, really good. I'd love to have him back as a depth corner, and to pair with Maxwell Harrison and Bernard Benford, and
Mhm.
hopefully Trey White. We may be able to bring him back. I hope we bring Trey White back as well. Uh, but those are the areas that we need to attack, man. The linebackers that we have under contract right now: Terrell Bernard, Dorian Williams, and what's the kid's name? Joe Andreessen. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody
Mhm.
else. I think we signed like a futures deal on Jimmy Charlo and Keontae Jenkins. I think we have future deals on those guys, but that's it. Like we got to get younger. We're looking at bringing back Shaq Thompson and um, Matt Milano. Shaq Thompson's like 31. Matt Milano's 32. Uh, there's talk about bringing in Alex Singleton, who's in his
Mhm.
30s from Denver.
Mhm.
These guys are old. Justin Sternad is like 29. What was it?
Mhm.
124 or 105. Yeah, we beat them by 19. All right.
Not bad.
We shot the
Yep.
ball well, finally. I mean, we shot the ball terribly against you guys on Sunday. That's the only
Yeah, they
reason
did.
why we won.
Knicks are up 114-74 on Dog Sixers. This is a disaster. I mean, it's terrible. You know, Dog
40,
said something
bro.
interesting too, that he's prioritizing offensive line over wide receiver. Interesting he says that, Whittle, because speaking of rumors, where have these Deion Dawkins getting traded rumors coming from? A and B, do you think it's legit or do you think it's a ridiculous thought to trade Deion Dawkins?
I think it's ridiculous to trade Deion Dawkins.
Mhm.
I understand why people are saying that. Deion Dawkins was extremely he was out of shape this year. You can see
Yeah.
it. I think he usually plays somewhere around 320. He looked to be probably about 340, 350. Easily
Mhm.
350,
Mhm.
potentially higher. Um, and his play reflected that. So, Deion's got to get in the gym. Hey, listen, y'all, Bills Mafia, let me tell you something. If I see Deion at any point over this offseason in Jersey, I'm on his coattail. Hey, bro, get it together, dog. Like, tighten up.
Mhm.
Protecting the blind side of you got the franchise's blind side, bro. 350 ain't gonna cut it. You need to cut that down to 320, 315, 325, whatever you need to anchor and still have your lateral quickness to
Mhm.
where you can get back to that all pro level player
Yep.
that he is. But yeah, so I understand that. And then you know what? A lot of this is centered around going to get a high value wide receiver. we're talking about George Pickens, Waddle,
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson, like guys like that. That's what this conversation is about.
Mm-hmm.
These people want to um, cut costs. You have to cut costs. You got to do it somewhere. So why not cut costs on the offensive line? I'm
Yep.
guessing they're thinking we can pay Vandermark $10 million to take his spot, send Deion Dawkins somewhere, and you get draft picks back. So you can then use those draft picks to add to the defense, and then you pay this high price wide receiver. But here's what
Yep.
happens when you pay the high price wide receiver, right? The rest of your offense gets worse. Your offensive line gets worse. Your running back room probably gets worse because of lack of usage. Um, and really lack of necessity of having all those guys there.
Yep.
Your quarterback also turns the ball over. Like if you go and look it up, the bulk of his turnovers in his career come from the seasons that he had Stephon Diggs. Not that, it's a situation where the receiver made him turn the ball over, but when you have a number one guy, you want to get that number one guy to football. I don't want a number one guy. I don't want a number one deep. Although I would take AJ Brown. Like that's the one
Yeah.
caveat. Like
Mm-hmm.
if it's an elite level receiver that you want to get, go get AJ Brown because I don't think AJ Brown requires a
Mm-hmm.
million targets to be successful.
This is true. Well, you know what kind of receiver we need, Whittle? How about a guy with 88, 99, 109, and 80 catches? Couple, 1,100 yards, 1,000 yards. Yeah, you know that is, Whittle? That's Michael Pittman Jr. I mean, for those out there at home that don't realize how good he is, and that's not with Josh Allen. Just saying, that's why I like where you're going with this instead of the Justin Jefferson. Listen, I played Madden 26. Would be great to get him on my roster, right? But this isn't Madden 26, okay? By the way, it's funny. I did sign Singleton in my offseason with the Bills this year, by the way. So it's funny you mentioned that. So, but the funny thing is, they retired Deion Dawkins on me in my franchise. I thought it was hysterical, by the way. But, yeah, I was like, wait, he's not retiring. I said, what is that? But it's funny how you said, about number one receiver. It doesn't necessarily have to. It could be AJ Brown. Again, it's got to be a contract that hits that right spot for us, right, where it gives us the ability to help our defense. Because we know the running game is probably gonna. I think it's safe to say without Cromer, right? I have this odd feeling our running game takes a little bit of a regression. I'm not saying we're going to regress to go down the abyss, right? But to offset that, we got to improve the wide receiver room and get a little more explosive down the field to kind of offset that a little bit. So, but I agree with you. We don't have to break the bank. And I mean, what would it cost for Justin Jefferson?
Oh,
I mean, what would it cost?
Two first, probably like a third, two first and a third or something like that.
Too much.
And still got to pay him. He's making almost $40 million, bro. Like,
yep.
That makes zero sense. Like, it's just when I hear people say like, I want Justin Jefferson, I think that's the dumbest course of action the Bills could actually run down. That would be ridiculous.
If we were New England situation with a rookie, if Josh was on a rookie deal,
right?
Yes,
right.
But not unfortunately. Well, I hope that doesn't happen. But New England, it makes more sense than for us. That's just the way it is, the way we are.
Listen, you get a guy like Pittman. He comes in, and really, what are we talking about when we talk about wide receiver one? We're talking about the 2 or 3 games per year that the offense is struggling or you're down points in the fourth quarter for whatever reason. And you just need a guy that is like you just need Josh to have a Robin. And just that I don't care who you have on your side. My quarterback plus my wide receiver is better than your corner and your DC. We're going to ride these guys for the remainder of this third quarter and the fourth quarter, and we're going to win this game. That's what you need. You need a guy that's going to make probably 7 or 8 plays over the course of the regular season and probably 5 or 6 plays during the playoffs that your normal, the rest of the guys in your wide receiver room can't make. And I'll be honest with you, I think some of the plays that you can that you need made for this team in the playoffs to be made by a guy that's already on the roster. Khalil
Mhm.
Shakir, like I just believe that if that's Shakir running that route against Jaquan McMillan and not Brandon Cooks, that's a catch. Shakir comes down with that football, it doesn't get taken away, and we're kicking a field goal to win that game, and that's that. I just I'm very curious about how things look this year with Brady being the head man and his staff being
Mhm.
being in place. And speaking of his staff, we want to if you want to finish up, I just want to run through the staff that Brady has right now. And
No,
I'll pick you.
absolutely. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like it's the other thing about a number one receiver is it's almost like a cleanup hitter, right? In I know it's not the one-to-one comparison, but a cleanup hitter in baseball, or like a receiver that's on the field that a safety just has to pay a little more attention to, right? Whittle or the defensive coordinator has to account for it. Even those games that Diggs didn't cook in the playoffs, he was still Diggs. The offensive coordinator still has to look at 14 and say, we got to look after him because he could cook us this whole game. And then it opens up a 4 touchdown game for Gabe Davis, or it opens up other things for some of our other players to have big games. That's what we're missing too. And a lot of fans miss that. Doesn't just because a number one receiver or in a playoff game doesn't cook every game. We spoke about this a million times. Tom Brady in every playoff game he's played, he's had a lot of standard games in the playoffs. Greatest quarterback quote of all time has had some pedestrian performances in the playoffs. He didn't, not your number one guys are not going to cook every single night, right? That's just not going to happen. But again, if we get that one guy that can, the coordinator says, oh, I got to keep an eye on Pittman. Maybe that opens things up for Joshua Palmer to have 5 catches in a game, or Keon Coleman returns next year and has a better year. That's what we need to take that pressure off and get better matchups for Joe Brady in his offensive design. So that's what we really need more than anything else. So you're right. It's also about having that Robin, and I think that's number one, but also just having that guy to help some of the others and maybe put some of our other receivers in better positions, right? Better matchups. Maybe we have guys playing up against maybe number 2 corners. Maybe they'll be better if they slide down one. They'll have better matchups in those games.
Yep. And I want to go through real quick. I mean, obviously we know about Jim Leonard
Yeah.
being a DC. Pete Carmichael's been hired as the offensive coordinator, not to call plays, but to be part of the game plan, game
Mm-hmm.
prep, and play design. Joe Brady will continue to call plays. Um, the special teams coordinator is Jeff Rogers, and the
Mm-hmm.
new offensive line coach is Pat Meyer. Um, Now, the coach that we did keep, we kept the running backs coach. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
2 of the running backs of it were all pros this year.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Skipper and tight ends coach Rob Boris still here. Obviously, Dawson Knox has had a pretty solid year. Donkey Cage continued to get better, and Jackson Hall's. I think he exceeded expectation. Like we knew he could block coming in, but he looked pretty good as a receiver as well. Pass game specialist is Mark Lubick. I don't know who that is. Assistant wide receivers coach and quality control, DJ Mangus. Assistant offensive line coach is Austin Gunn. That's a Cromer holdover.
Mm-hmm.
And offensive quality control coach is Kyle Schumer. Um, Now, the positional coaches, which is where I think the biggest bang for your buck is happening. Um, Terrence Jameson, the was hired from the University of Illinois. Um, has put out some pretty decent guys. I mean, Johnny Newton came out of Illinois
Yep.
a couple years ago. Um, the everybody else is like kind of just escaping me right now. Outside
Yeah.
linebackers, Bobby April the third. joins came from Stanford. He was with the Minnesota Vikings. Secondaries coach as Jay Valai. He came from Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
He's being touted as the next big defensive mind. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, coming out of college. So he's a
Very nice. Yep.
very high energy guy. Um, Oklahoma's secondary, players have looked very good. Everywhere he's been pretty successful with coaching those guys up. Our wide receivers coach, Drew Terrell, is he's joining from the Arizona Cardinals, and um, the new quarterbacks coach is Bo Hardiger. I don't know
Hmm.
who that guy is.
Me neither. Yeah, it's just a few coaches, just a few.
But I like what they're doing on defense. Um, they're bringing in coaches from college, and that makes a lot of sense, especially because one of the things that we talk about often with this defense is getting younger. So you get guys in here that speak their language. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I would have wanted Leslie Frazier as the defensive
Agree.
coordinator, but um, the man just won a Super Bowl. I think he's good.
Yep. Congrats to
But,
Leslie Frazier. What a guy that I always thought got a little too much criticism for 13 seconds, and I think he's getting. But yeah, good. One of the true class acts in the NFL. So really happy for Leslie Frazier.
yeah, man, listen, Sam Darnold getting a ring before Josh Allen, Leslie Frazier getting a ring before Sean McDermott. I tell you what, the Bills better get it. The Bills better get it together. Because
Yes.
if Sean McDermott goes to another team, let's just say, for instance, that the Bengals fire their head coach after this upcoming season, and Sean McDermott goes to the Bengals, and the Bengals win a Super Bowl.
Oh boy. Oh Whittle, don't even go there. Oh Whittle, I don't want that in the universe at all.
Come on, bro. It could
Oh
happen,
man.
man. It could happen. Like that, it can happen, but it can't happen. Like that
Mhm.
can't happen.
Yeah.
So get it right. Let's go.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
I'm you know what? And I'm gonna be very much a wait and see person. I'm like that's gonna be me next season. Wait and see. I don't
Absolutely.
know. With Jim Leonard, seems like a great guy and seems like a great
Very
coach.
impressive press conference. I was very
Yeah,
impressed with his I like the tactics. I like his thought process. I like
yeah.
the way he feels like a head coach in waiting too. He's another guy I think that may get that opportunity. But again, you're right. We have to wait and see. We have to see what we do in free agency. We have to see what we do in the draft.
Good. Can't hear you. You lost. Wait, is it me? All right, chat. Here we go. Chat, help us out. Can you hear me or can you hear Beyond? That's why we figure out who's anybody. Oh, we can hear what okay. Well, it's on you, buddy. It's on you. It's on you.
There we
You got
go. Are we back now?
yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay. That was a
Oh
technical
man,
difficulty on my side. My mistake on that, fellas. So we
Devin
are
here. He's heard the Bills surgeons are scared to clear strong for contact.
ooh.
Well, I guess we need two corners.
Yeah, I really feel bad for him. I really do. I was real excited. We were both pretty excited about that pick.
He
And
looked good, man. He
stick,
looked good.
yeah.
I thought he was like a third or fourth round pick. We ended up getting him in the
Hmm.
sixth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I think at the very least, you think maybe he'll be out the year and see if he comes back in 27. I mean, that's what
No,
it's kind of sounding like, or who knows?
I don't think so. I think if they if the surgery if the surgery was successful and and he is healthy enough to play, but they just don't feel comfortable playing him.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's it. If he's not, I don't think a team will feel comfortable playing him. And
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
that
That's
brings
gonna.
football.
Mm-hmm. That may be it. Yeah. Because, like we said, every draft year, more draftees come out, more players come in. It's just going to get harder and harder for him to get a spot and to get an opportunity.
Yeah. But
League.
so listen, I just think you got a young coaching staff, um, coaching staff from college. A lot of guys from college, a young head coach, young DC. Um, I think the focus needs to be getting younger, especially through
Mm-hmm.
the draft. Let's go get, and this is like the year where you actually could sit at 26 at the end of the first round and get a really, really good pass rush, like really good. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. That's even if Brandon Bean makes the pick, he might trade out of the first round and just to get a two and a couple of day three, a couple of early day three picks. I can see trading out of. I can see trading out of the first and getting a second and a
Mm-hmm.
fourth and a second and a fifth or a second and a fourth and a fifth or whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see that. And if they do that, listen, there's some guys that are going to be available at receiver and on the defensive side of the ball that we really got to start paying attention to. I love Akeem Mesidor, the defensive end from Miami. I think
Mm-hmm.
he would fit this team very, very well. I like Romello Height, the outside linebacker from Texas. I think it's Texas A&M. Um, I think his Ben's really good. I think he's a little small for me, but um, I do think he can get after a quarterback. I watched him a couple of times this year. Really, really wreck games. Um, and something that came across my desk recently via Jarek and Anthony from the Spaces on Twitter is a young
Okay.
man by the name of Brennan Thompson, wide
Ooh.
receiver out of Mississippi State.
Mm.
Listen, the comp that I'm hearing, I'm not going to say who it was, but the comp that I'm hearing is Tyreek Hill without the off field stuff.
Oh, imagine if we get a guy like that in our.
He has very, very, very elite. Like his speed is elite. Like we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about potentially Olympic qualifier type speed.
Wow.
I watched a few games of his, and when I say he runs past people, he really, really, really runs past them. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if Josh. I don't know if Josh can overthrow him without trying. Like, I don't know if Josh can overthrow him. I don't know that he can. I think that if we get him I think if we were to get a guy like that, like, listen, I like it. I wouldn't mind the move, bro. I wouldn't mind it. After watching the kid, I could really see him opening up the rest of the field for everybody else just because of his speed. And he's not big either. He's like 5'9", 185, 170, 175, something like that.
Wow.
So he's on the smaller side, but when I listen, the guy can fly, bro. I mean, he can go. He really can. So listen, I know a lot of people are singing the praises of KC Concepcion and go get him. If you get a Brennan Thompson, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's better than KC Concepcion.
Wow. Imagine if it's funny. I'm actually doing a little mock draft here for the 3 rounds, just messing around here. And I took So far, I took What if we end up with Mesidor, who, he's 26, right out of the box. I feel like he's ready to be a starter,
25.
right?
He'll be
Whittle?
25.
25,
He'll be
26.
25.
So from a physical standpoint, he's very mature, right? He's ready to go. Like, I feel like he could be an instant impact right away, right? So imagine him and Brendan Thompson, Whittle, first two picks. Would you? I know it's getting early to our mock drafts, but we're gonna have a plenty as we go through. But that would be quite a nice little haul for the Bills right there.
Yeah, I think so. If they manage to get him, I think that solves your wide receiver issues, bro. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it solves your wide receiver issues.
I gotta watch. I gotta look at more about him. But I've only heard his name, and I don't know a lot about his game. Wow. All right.
And it's not just like, and it's not just the speed either. He also goes after the football. Like, he also goes up to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just like, it's not regular. Like, what he does, it's not regular. I'm very, very high on him potentially, being a steal, a super steal. If we were to get him, I'd be very, very happy with that.
All right, there. So, ladies and gentlemen, last year, just for anybody listening for the first time, the first name that Whittle brought up last year was Deion Walker.
Brother.
Okay, and then as the year went on, he was sliding down the draft, and then we got him in the 4th round, and look where we are. Deion Walker is one of the best young rookie defensive players in the NFL this year, not only just with the Bills. So, just keep in mind, keep your ears listening here as we go through a lot more draft talk as we get closer and closer to NFL draft day. So you're going to hear a lot. We're just dipping our toes in that water right now, so it's going to be a lot of fun as we navigate through that going forward.
Yeah, I'm getting into the film now.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched a few receivers. I love Chris Bell. Chris Bell suffered an injury not too long ago, so he's probably gonna miss the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season. But I wouldn't, like, if he's there in the 3rd round, I'm taking him. If he's there late 2nd, I probably take him and just stash him. I think Chris Bell's comp is AJ Brown.
Oh wow, yeah.
It looks like it too. Like, he's faster than he looks. He's strong. He's a big, strong kid, 6'1", 6'2", like 215 pounds, and he's probably he's not going to be able to run because of the injury. But if he did run, the 40, I think he'd run under a 4.5. I think he's probably somewhere around a 4.45, 4.3, something like that. So he does have that run away from you speed. He can play on the outside. He can get off a press. He's not the best route runner, but the hands are secure and he is physical. He's very, very physical. So I would love a Chris Bell. You get Chris Bell and Brendan Thompson, you get those two guys, you don't have to get a receiver in free agency. You don't. You don't have to trade for one, because those guys, I think, with Shakir and Keon and the tight ends and the running backs, I think they will carry the passing game. I mean, again, Brendan Thompson, if he is a Buffalo Bill, it's going to get electric in that new building, bro. I mean,
it's going
to get electric. It really is. So that's what I got, man.
No, that's excellent. I mean, we just coming up, just to give you all a little preview what's coming up next week. I believe on the 17th, that's when the franchise and transition tag windows open. So we're already getting close, folks. February 23rd, the combine starts in Indianapolis, goes through the 2nd. So as we move a couple weeks forward, Whittle and myself, we will be getting more into the combine, some results, and then moving a little bit closer to free agency. We have a question for you, Whittles. We wrap up the show for tonight. Thoughts on Josh interview? You said you'd wait till next week to talk about it. Okay, so I was not here for last week. So, any thoughts on Josh Allen's interview?
Yeah. I think most people will sugarcoat this and say, "Oh well, what is he supposed to say in those situations?" I didn't like it. It's almost it feels like Josh is trying to set us. It's almost like Josh is. What I get from that is he's trying to prepare the fan base for not winning. That's what it feels like.
Which interview are we talking about here, too? By the way, it's the one
was an interview.
with, because there's been a few. Well, is it the one right after Brady was hired? His press conference, or you talk? Is it more about?
It was the one that he had with what show was that?
Was it Jim Rome? Maybe was he on Jim Rome's show, or was he on?
No, it wasn't Jim Rome.
I know a lot of our guys are on Rome at times.
It was like it was one of the NFL shows.
Okay.
And they were just asking him about Super Bowl and the playoffs, things like that. And how do you feel about
first things first? Oh, with the Bills hater. What's his name? The Chief fan. Why is he escaping me right now? Not Chris Broussard, but Nick Wright. Okay, Nick Wright. Yep.
That's all. Just
I gotta watch.
I don't like the audio and the body language that I've seen from Josh over the last couple of years. I really don't. It's just like, man, well, I'm more than a football player. Well, yeah, when you retire, dog, like I get it. You have a life, but like, and maybe I feel like this because the Bills don't have a Super Bowl, and
I think that's what it is. Yeah, it has to be.
And it's just like we're so close, and I'm just gonna be transparent. We're very, very close. We've been close for the last 5 seasons.
Extremely, we're painfully.
And the last 2 years, make it 3 with this one. The offense has had the football last. Josh Allen been on the field, and we have not delivered. Whatever the context is surrounding each one of those is fine. Like, I hear you. But at some point, you got to start asking tough questions. And a tough question was asked today in the space. Do you think Josh Allen is a clutch player? And I can't say yes right now. Because in those moments where, like, we don't need the way that this team is built, it doesn't require Josh to carry the team throughout the year. There are moments when he is going to be. There are moments through the season, in some games and in the playoffs, some playoff moments, where he's going to be required to bridge the gap between what we have on the roster and what it requires, what we're required to do in order to win. Sometimes the roster is not good enough to win that game. Josh has to bridge that gap. So I personally think the Bills are always at a talent disadvantage when we go to the playoffs after the wild card round. So once we get to the divisional, you're playing the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Broncos, now the Patriots. Even though I think roster-wise, I think we are better than the Patriots. But, like, you're playing those type of teams, the Jags, like, those guys, I believe that those teams, from a talent standpoint, are better than the Bills roster. However,
Mm-hmm.
We have Josh Allen. You guys don't. So Josh has to make it enough. And then when you're
Yep.
playing against teams like Baltimore and Kansas City and Cincinnati, they also have a guy. Like, they also have a comparable guy to Josh. So it requires even more from Josh. It requires even more on Josh to to pull this team through those moments against these great
Mm-hmm.
players and these great teams. And we just keep falling short. And at
Yep.
some point, the coach is gone. The offensive coordinator from before, like those offensive coordinators, Dayball's gone. Dorsey's gone. The DCs are gone. Like wide receiver coaches, quarterback coaches, all of these guys are gone. Now it's Josh, and now it's Brandon Bean. Like you guys are the mainstays. You're the holdovers. It's Deion Dawkins. Like it's kind of up to you guys now. Dawson Knox. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
up to you guys now.
Yep. Yep. So you know what? One simple overtime thing about Josh. Josh is 0-7 lifetime in overtime. Mahomes is 7-0. I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't take now. Listen, that doesn't give context on everything. There have been some games where Josh didn't have an opportunity, as we know, with 13 seconds, things like that. But those kind of, we have to start looking at those and like you said, asking questions, right? We have to ask questions about Josh. And there's nothing wrong with doing this. It doesn't minimize that Josh is one of the greatest. He's going to be the greatest quarterback to probably ever play for the Buffalo Bills. He's going to go down as a Hall of Famer. He's going to be, his story's still untold, Whittle, right? He could break through this year, and maybe mentally Josh gets in a deeper area, and then we win 2 Super Bowls or maybe even 3. Who knows, right? And then we have a different conversation in 3-4 years. But as of now, these questions are legitimate. Like we've been done, we can't just hide behind, it's all the defense's fault, because it wasn't this year. We've had multiple years now where it hasn't been completely the defense's fault in a lot of these scenarios when you really look deeper at the game. So, and there's nothing wrong with doing that.
I'm gonna start asking tough questions, man.
Yep. Because it's tough to win Super Bowls, and we have a very, very, very high standard in this era of Buffalo Bills football. This isn't about just making the playoffs anymore. Making the playoffs is great. Winning divisions are fun. We have a fun team. I love watching this team every year, Whittle, right? We have likable players. Josh is dynamic. He's fun to watch. But at a certain point, we just got to break through. We got to find a way. And, we got hundreds and hundreds of days here to analyze what we're going to do going forward. But it's just, this offseason feels a little bit longer already than most. This feels to me more than 13 seconds, more than 2023, 2024. This year feels like the one that got away from me. It really, really does, Will. It was all there right in front of us. Again, to at least make it, at least get to the Super Bowl, right? Winning it, I think that would have been interesting. I think that would have been a great game. But I just think I think the Bills would have won it personally, but I digress on that.
We would have had a good shot at it because, as good as that defense is, Josh Allen in big moments, when he does come through, he comes through against whoever.
But he's had some moments recently where we have to say it's been a little bit spotty, more than I think Bills fans want to truly admit. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yep. Right? Yeah, just a little bit. It doesn't mean he's a choker. It doesn't mean he's not a playoff performer. We're not saying that at all, because I still believe he is. And that's why, keep staying here with us for this podcast, and just know that, we're going to call it like we see it. We're not going to sugarcoat things with Josh. We're not going to, quote, suck up to him, for better lack of a term. We're going to give it to you straight.
Yeah, it's not like he's watching. So I mean,
Well, you never know. No, don't I wish?
even if he is, like, so what? Play
Yeah,
better, bro.
no.
I mean, I'm
And
sorry. Like this
you know,
game, like look, I'm not sugarcoating this game. We
yeah,
lost this game because the turnover
yep.
and those turnovers
Listen,
just shouldn't. That's why we lost.
I'd be very surprised if he wouldn't say, hey, this is my job. I have to take this criticism. This is part of what comes with the territory with being a franchise quarterback. You could be there for the flowers, but man, when bullets are being thrown your way like this, you gotta be able to take them. And he does. He does. He doesn't point fingers. He puts it on himself, and like a good leader would, right? Like when he said, "I think I let the team down tonight," he didn't say anything about anybody else. He put it all on himself, which is what a captain, what a leader should do.
100%.
But we'll see, Whittle, and that's all I had for this week. Next week we can, we'll dive more into, maybe start talking a little combine, maybe identify some more prospects, maybe talk a little more free agency. Maybe we'll put up some names, some other possibilities that we could see floating out there coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah. The combine roster is set. There are a list of some snubs that are floating around. I was kind of surprised at some of the names that were on there as well.
Do some of them skip it by design? They want to do private workouts?
No, they weren't invited.
Oh, they weren't invited. Okay. That's okay. Wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah, so let me a couple of names real quick.
Sure.
Noah Whittington, running back. Galen Black, another running back. Yeah, I mean, there's a few guys, man. That Tyron Montgomery, I was surprised that he didn't get an invite. But Brendan Thompson is going to be there.
There it is.
Boy, he runs that. Oh boy, when he runs that 40.
You watch his stock is going to shoot right up.
Yeah. Yep. Cyrus Allen, another guy. Louis Bond too, the kid from Boston College. Weird. He didn't get an invite. It is what it is, though. I mean, this happens every year. It just means that their pro days are going to be very, very important. Mikael Kamara, wow, Indiana, he didn't get.
Really?
He didn't get invited. He didn't get the invite. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Devin Marshall, NC State. Cam Miller, Rutgers. That was surprising. Brent Austin. Looking at some names.
You're gonna laugh. I did this mock draft on PFF. Gave me an F for taking Brendan Thompson. Come on, PFF, get it together.
At 2? Yeah, I mean, listen, because of his size.
Yeah,
he's probably going to slip a little bit, but
it's all right.
Like if he was 5'9", 190, you could probably see him go in the second, early second.
Yeah, so maybe third rounds where we're looking at
5'9", 170, bro. That's 175.
But that 40 times going to be interesting though, because it could rocket you right up the draft. I mean, there's no doubt if it pops off the charts. Oh yeah.
Listen, they talking about this kid may run under a 4.3. So if he does that,
he's going second round easy.
He's going second round.
Yep.
Nah, he's not going to the first. I can't see.
No.
I can't see him going in the first because of the size, bro. I just can't see it.
You don't think one team would get crazy and just reach? You don't know?
I don't think so.
Yep.
They should, because I do think he's good. I do think he's that good, but I can't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, Kobe Baines. Kobe Baines, the interior offensive lineman from Kansas. No invite to the. It's a few. there's a few names up here, man, that are pretty surprising. But
ESPN has a mock us taking Peter Woods, defensive tackle from Clemson, in the first round.
yeah, it's not happening at 26. Peter Woods
No.
far gone.
Yeah.
You get that.
Yeah.
If he's not, then you run
We
the
should
ticket
take
up
him.
there. But yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, hey, listen, I think I saw something. The top 4 teams with the best defensive tackle pressure rates are Seattle, Rams, Patriots, Broncos. So there you go. If you want to take what you can from there, the final 4 teams in this year's playoffs, this could be connection between that. So I feel if the Bills can improve that in any way, you do it. You find a way. So
I got a Jets fan in my mentions on Twitter about.
Oh no.
You'll see it. You'll see it.
Oh boy. I'll take a look at it.
And it's like, bro, self-awareness, guys. You're a Jets fan.
Mm-hmm.
Your 2026 season is over already. Like, it's over right now.
They're officially eliminated the first day. We put out that graphic. By the way, I am surprised, by the way, the Super Bowl is in the state of California again this year. That's unusual. Yeah, it's in LA. It's unusual. Usually it goes like Miami back to LA or maybe Houston, kind of revolves around the country a little bit. I'm surprised they put it back in the same state again. So we got the World Cup of soccer here, right? This year. Well, so does New York, right? You got the Super Bowl, and then you got the Olympics in 2 years in LA. LA is going to be hopping for big sporting events the next couple of years. All right, Sam. Welcome, Sam Hayes. Let's go Hawks. Congratulations to your Hawks on a great year. We were talking about them earlier. Had Hawks versus Bills for the Super Bowl beginning of the year, calling it again. Hey, listen, from your lips to the football god's ears, I'll take a Seattle Buffalo Super Bowl right now next year. I'll sign up for it. So hopefully we'll see you there in SoFi in my backyard here in Los Angeles. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. We'll see. All right, let's get out of here, man.
Yep, we'll call it a night. It's been a long day for you, and want to thank everybody as always for tuning in. Follow us, do Champions also. Follow our podcast on YouTube, like and subscribe. We really appreciate those. They mean everything to us. Helps us put more great content out there, and look for some more great shows coming up. We're going to be digging more into the draft, more into free agency, and other great topics. We're just getting started here. This is part 2 of the offseason. This is Whittle's he cooks all year. You especially he gets in the recipes this time of year, folks. So definitely join us coming up in the near future.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit the. I'm going to be heavily involved in the film with the prospects coming out, getting prepared for the combine, and obviously the draft is in Pittsburgh. So, yeah, I have some names next week. And maybe we can start looking at potential strategies or a short list of guys that stick out. We'll go from there. There's many receivers. Is it?
Yep. Any other interesting
40 receivers?
40? Oh wow.
40 receivers. 1, 2, 3. A lot of offensive line guys. D-line. There are 40 guys to watch.
Wow.
These corners, 47. And safeties is 36 safeties. Linebackers, 47 linebackers. All right, so yeah.
Quite a few.
I'll be busy.
Yes, you will. You will, folks. And please tune in. And the other little interesting layer about why you should tune into us, this draft coming up, Whittle, we've heard a lot about Sean McDermott's influence on Brandon Beane. No more Sean McDermott now. So we could see different prospects open up that normally Buffalo would not be looking at under the McDermott areas. We know they had a as Sal Capaccio used to say, a Billsy player, right? Guys that check the boxes, right? And not to say it was completely wrong. We did get a lot of good players out of these drafts, and we've been very successful. But it's going to be interesting to see if they go a little bit off their normal what we've seen under Brandon Beane coming up. So that's going to be fascinating to me, see how that unfolds, especially with our top 30 visits and things like that. We'll see how that list plays out as we go forward. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
That's all I
All
had.
right, folks. Yep, that's all we got. We're gonna sign off here. Thank you guys for tuning in as usual. And
Thank you.
check us out next week. I'm back.
Have a great night.
Good. Yep. Go Bills.
Go Bills.